Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Melanated Report, where we talk comics, culture, horror, geek fandom, and everything in between. I'm your boy Cornell Westside, and today we gotta talk about Exquisite Corpses by James Tynion IV and Michael Walsh, because between It's Something Killing the Children, The Woods, and now Odin, I'm telling you, this man might be the GOAT of horror comics. Now, before y'all jump in the comments and go and be like, no, this person, please do that, because I want to see everything they reading so I can compare it to what he got going on. There's a couple of people that I could put up here too, but listen, y'all haven't read some where halfway y'all realize that something might be wrong with this person writing this book, because they're processing a lot of their trauma here. They're processing a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't be reading, but I am reading it. Month after month and everything, and it's kind of getting into me, and now the trauma's in me, and now y'all got to check on me too, but the book is just so good you just can't put it down. Now, Exquisite Corpses starts off as a slash tournament. By the end, it turns into basically a rich people fantasy football tournament with serial killers, small town trauma, class warfare, government failure, emotional damage, and most importantly, a whole lot of America might actually be cooked, y'all.
I know some of these words.
Because the scariest part ain't even the serial killers. It's the fact that this could happen in real life, and we all know it.
Let him cook! Let him cook now!
We know if Elon Musk said tomorrow that he dropping a bunch of assassins in small town for his entertainment and just want to see what happened, that a bunch of people be like, can I bet it on Prize Picks? Can I watch it on Amazon Prime? Y'all know y'all watch Squid Games. Y'all know y'all did it. So today we're going to be breaking down the 13-issue series of Exquisite Corpses, the killers, the families, the deaths that hurt, the deaths that felt satisfying, the characters that carried the story, and why this book is also a 10 out of 10 for me. Now we're going to be starting with a non-spoiler section, and I'll give you a clear warning where we're going to be getting to the full breakdown with the spoilers and everything. So with that said, let's go ahead and get into it. Actually, before we get into anything, hit that like and subscribe button, otherwise the family Massachusetts will
strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Alright, now first things first, let's go ahead and answer the main question of the video. Should you be reading Exquisite Corpses? If you hadn't got the vibe of yes, then let's go ahead and say it. If you like horror comics, if you like slasher movies, if you like conspiracy horror movies, if you like watching women getting his butt whooped in the finals, if you like stories where issues got you saying,
yeah, nah, at
least once or twice, then this is the book for you. Now, the basic premise of the book is nothing that's hard to catch on. Every 5 years on Halloween, the wealthiest families in America play a game. And they drop 12 of the deadliest killers into a small town, and the last killer standing wins. Now, this year, that town is Oak Valley, Maine. And the people who live there, they ain't trying to win nothing. They just trying to survive the night. Because 12 killers just came in here and just started to run them up. And why? Because 12 families needed a better hobby. You know, they crazy in itself. And that's what make this not just horror, but capitalism mixed up in the last gummy mask. And that's the real scary part. Now, the book feels like The Purge mixed with Squid Games, mixed with a cable news segment that had a little bit too violence in it, and they all had a big old baby. And I love it. And I don't just love the gore about the book. Now, don't get me wrong, the gore is there. The gore clocked in early, signed the attendance sheet, beat up some kids at 3:15, and then they work overtime as a janitor at the school. But the real horror is the system behind it. Families, the rules, the betting, surveillance, the groundskeeper. The way that regular human life is turned into entertainment for people with enough money for nobody to tell them no. And we know this could happen in real life. And the art is also nasty in the best way. I mean, the masks are very memorable. The killers all have these designs where, like, you know, they really wanted to have a spinoff series for each one of them. And they actually have confirmed that Rascal Randy will be having his own spinoff series. And y'all know my girl Fox Masculine needs her own, because she just walked in like a female John Wick, just looking good. Nurse Pete was looking like one of those dudes who says, you're in good hands. But you know by that little smile that you are not in good hands.
Let's all state stand.
Because with a premise like this, you really could get lost and make all the characters just seem like people that you want to get chopped up. But they all had their distinct characteristics where you're like, I want this person to get killed, and I want this person to survive. Like, I actually cared about Lola. I actually cared about Mike. Cared about Craig and Javi.
I care for you.
I cared about Jason and Audrey. I cared about Ian and that monologue he did, man. My boy Ian. And in a book where people are getting folded left and right, it's definitely hard to make me care about characters in 22 pages at a time. But James Tiny Onion, you definitely did it for us.
You did it! Congratulations!
You did it for me. I know. I don't know about everybody else, but you did it for me. So my non-spoiler score would definitely have to be a 10 out of Tynion. Thank you, James Tynion. Thank you. But you know what that means. From here on out, we discussing spoilers. So if you have not read all 13 issues, please pause this video. Do not exit, pause it, and then come back, and then we discuss all the trauma that we all have collectively as a community. Because, man, He did some things in that, and we need to discuss big business now. We need to discuss murder. We need to discuss why Big Bruce deserved what he got. I'll see you on the next segment. Now, before we get into killers, we gotta talk about all the 13 families because they the real villains of the book. Because they represent the worst parts of society. They just over there drinking, gambling, and carrying on and judging performances. Like, this is all normal stuff. Just watching Oak Valley getting torn apart like Wemby by the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. Yeah, if y'all ain't realized that I'm making this during the NBA Finals right now, Wemby just got tore up in game 2. I mean, did y'all see that pass he did? Getting back to the story. Now, none of the family members address themselves by names. They only address themselves by their home state. Massachusetts is actually the only people to actually address themselves by name, and they're represented by a lady named Margaret. And Margaret is my favorite. She got that old quiet money menace. She don't need to yell because the threat is already in the paperwork. Margaret moves like somebody whose family has been rooted alive since candles were the main light source in life. Pennsylvania is the host family because they won the last tournament. Honestly, I was not too excited about them. Now, South Carolina, they gave tradition, wealth, and long lines of we do this shit here. Now, North Carolina gives pride. They came in expecting dominance, but the minute things didn't go their way, they started folding like clothes, y'all. New York was just sitting there like, we brought the drip. Rhode Island gives quiet money with locked doors and secrets. Like, if you go in their house, they paint's just gonna start blinking at you. And you know Georgia was getting their little charm, their little southern charm and everything, but you know behind that smile, something is wrong. New Hampshire really couldn't get a real hold of their personality. Delaware really gave a lot of corporate evil. Jersey was just talking stuff the whole time. I mean, they was just going crazy. Maryland gave some backroom influence. Virginia gave me like they got some institutional power, like they judges. Connecticut seemed like they didn't know how much a gallon of milk was. Then you have the groundskeeper where every time he had a conversation, I was just like, okay, this is not going to end well for the other person in the panel with him. Last but not least, you have the game master who was running around like an evil Stephen A. Smith. Now let's talk about the 12 killers. Representing Massachusetts, we got the Lone Gunman, the character that we are introduced to in a monologue with Margaret in the beginning of the first issue. Representing North Carolina, we got Leopold Strong, who looked like Bane if he ate another Bane. Representing Rhode Island, we got Recluse, aka Spider-Man. And of course, out there in New York, we got the Fox Mask Killer with her stylish self and that sword looking like Miss John Wick. Representing Georgia, we got Pretty Boy Floyd without the Floyd and with an axe. And my black brethren. Look at me looking for black unity in a murder tournament. Representing South Carolina, we got Lady Carolina with the arrow, who honestly was my least favorite killer because, I mean, she just stuck out like a sore thumb. I mean, I feel like this is not a competition for aristocrats. It's a competition for mean, mangy-looking murderers. And she wasn't even supposed to be in the competition. They just chose her because they ain't had nobody else represent them. But long story, we can get into that in a little bit. Representing New Hampshire, we got the congregation who uses the knife and, it's a damn shame what he did to that one man at the convenience store. Representing Jersey, we got Rascal Randy in this piece, just looking like a murder mascot. And honestly, I feel like that really tracks for Jersey. I guess I shouldn't tell people I'm from Chicago after saying that. Representing Delaware, we got Lady Blaze with the fire. And I swear every time she showed up, it feels like somebody's insurance premium went up. Representing Maryland, we got Slater with the explosives. Representing Virginia, we got Nurse Pete with the poison. And he definitely had the worst kill of all the 13 issues. It's a damn shame what happened to them kids. And last but not least, you got Connecticut with Gamer Kid with electricity. Now, the first 2 issues set up everything perfectly. We meet Oak Valley, Maine, this regular small town that has no idea that it's about to become the worst Halloween destination ever. We meet Laura, an EMT who gets a warning from her uncle, the sheriff, telling her to leave town. We meet Audrey, a mom stuck working at Big Bruce's dealership. We meet Jason, Audrey's son. We meet Craig and Javi, who become the emotional anchors of this book. We meet Ian, Laura's fellow paramedic, my boy Ian. And then we get Mike, good old meth head Mike, who starts off as just a gas station worker, but eventually becomes my favorite character of the series. Shout out to Big Mike. Now, the scene between the groundskeeper and the sheriff was definitely my favorite scene of the first 2 books. We'll keep an eye out. Here's everything from us. Your new identity, passport, birth certificate, social security card, and all the information you need to access a bank account that as of 30 minutes ago has $10 million sitting inside. Right. Thought it'd be hard to say goodbye. Honestly, feels like it should be hard. Spent my whole life down in the valley. I don't know what's gonna be happening down there for the next 24 hours. What I already know, it's best not you think about it. But if you do, I want you to remember what happens if you attempt to contact anybody in the valley, any part of your old life. Yeah, suppose that's all. I'm gonna stop short of wishing you good luck and just say goodbye. Enjoy your new life. And it was funny because the sheriff was over here trying to get real answers while the groundskeeper was over here giving the small town creepy man energy vibes and wasn't trying to answer nothing. He said, go ahead and take this envelope and go ahead and get your black blood down here. And that sheriff said, it's all there? Yeah, I'm up out of here. Then we actually get our first shock of the issue when they take out Leopold Strong in the first issue. I actually did not expect that. The big man with the big muscles, he got the first one taken out and pretty easy. Now imagine walking down the street and seeing this big behemoth is walking towards you with a big old hammer. Luckily for Javi, he had plot armor and the last gunman to help him survive. Big hammer, huge body, circus strongman energy. Built like he deadlifts his own childhood trauma. Then the lone gunman said,
No.
Packed them up real early. Was I shocked? Yes. Was I mad?
No.
Because that death meant this series was not playing by the normal rules. The big man does not win. And if the biggest dude in the tournament gets dropped early, that means ain't nobody else safe. Then in issue 2 gives us the convenience store kill, and that's when the book really starts acting disrespectful. The congregation pulls up to the gas station with that human skin mask and cult leader energy. Mike was just sitting there waiting on the plug to come through at Pump King for the night, going through all his conspiracy theories. Then all of a sudden, this crazy man just came through. And in the midst of the attack, Rob tried to come in and help his friend, but he was taken down in the process. And Poe Mike freezes when Rob gets caught in that violence. Now, at this point, I didn't really like him. Now, I know a lot of people would love to say, I would have fought back. But against who? A man wearing people's faces? Nah, take the register, take the building, take the snacks. I don't need to be brave at the Pump King gas station today. And what makes the scene so extra disturbing is how casual the congregation really is. And Mike freezes is important because he does something important later, so that would be his character arc coming along. Now, issues 3 and 4 expand a little bit on the town and shows us just how fast the night is actually spiraling. The main characters bring Nurse Pete to the hospital and he gets deeper into the story, and I'm just gonna say a lot of stuff happened when he entered the chat, and it was not good at all. I thought he actually was going to murder the people in the car before they got to the hospital, but lucky for them, they didn't. Okay, technically, both of these people should have got hacked up by the way they were acting in this one panel right here. If a person is umming and oohing the whole time when you're trying to have a conversation and ask for information while something weird is going on, they definitely are a part of the thing. I did find the friendship between Pretty Boy and Meth Head Mike to be quite amusing, though. Pretty Boy was just sitting there like, word, conspiracy? Nah, that ain't happening, bro. Knowing doggone well he's a part of everything that's going on. Then we have the panel where the sheriff, who is Laura's uncle, actually told her to get out of town, told her to get in that ambulance and drive as far away as you can, and she did not listen. Although in the midst of having this conversation and all these revelations and characterizations, Nurse Pete is somewhere doing something very diabolical. Thank you, James, for not showing us the aftermath of this scene. Meanwhile, through all this stuff going on, Audrey's just stuck at work at Big Bruce Auto Sales, and Big Bruce just act like nothing is going on in the town. Big Bruce is what they would call the final boss male. He's the boss that we have all had before in our lives. If you're thinking about that person, yep, it's them. He's the type of person that in the middle of apocalypse, he'd be like, so you still clocking in tomorrow? He is pretty much just chewing out Audrey the whole time, and you just like, okay, they're building up this character too. You know what's gonna happen. And then when Lady Carolina got there, you knew something was about to happen. He started treating her like she was royalty over Audrey. Anything Audrey said, he pretty much was just going in on her. I felt so bad for Audrey, although that did not give her the right to almost turn into a homicidal maniac in the end of the book. Audrey was put through a lot this book. I will say that I almost forgave her for what she did at the end of the book, but almost is key here. Bruce over here thinking he's going to get a sale, but little does he know that Lady Carolina is only interested in finding her weapon from the car. Lady Carolina plays Bruce by making him go to open the trunk because she knows that there's something waiting for her, and in turn, Bruce finds it and pays the price. Thus begin all the actions that start Audrey's eventual PTSD during the night. Fortunately for him, he loses only his hand and not his life. I was rooting for his life. Eventually, she meets up with Laura, who takes her to the sheriff's station, and they find a very gruesome scene waiting for them. These people are very efficient at what they do. Bruce thought he was going to be the hero of the story until he was taken out by a trap set by your friendly neighborhood recluse. And I'm not gonna lie, when Big Bruce got his, I cheered, I laughed, I clapped. I put the book down and had a moment. And issues 5 through 7 is when we really go from the people don't know what's going on, the killers are just running amok, and then the town goes into full-on chaos. This is when we go from like Halloween Town to Scream 4 and Halloween, the movies with Michael Myers vibes. You got the concert going on, you got the Halloween party, you got the kids trick-or-treating, and you got, like I said, the killers just running around just doing whatever they want to do. And everything just starts to ramp up. I mean, in this one, I say my favorite favorite scene in these will have to be the kids' misdirection with Craig. Now, the scene where Gamer Kid pretty much called in an airstrike to take out some of the neighbors. This reminded me a lot of Child's Play when Chucky wanted Andy to play along with him, become murderous along with him, before obviously taking over his body, but that didn't happen in this one. When Craig yells at him because he started acting crazy, he turns his sights on Craig and tries to get Jason to do it. Then, just when it seems like it's going to get all murdery for Jason, little old rascally rabbit comes in and saves the day. And it was good because I did not want to see Jason go like this. Good old street justice. When Jason and the other kids wind up getting in danger, you just sitting there, James, please don't ruin my week. I do not want to see this happen in these pages right now. Because my last week just got ruined when I seen Nurse Pete go ahead and did what he did in the hospital. And I want y'all to go ahead and see it. I'm not going to show that part just because it was so crazy. And I can't even show that on YouTube. I'm not going to lie, when the whole monologue scene came along, I knew if this was following horror movie rules that these two or somebody was going to be taken out. And shortly after, we seen Ian go. Pulling out for my boy Ian. Gamer Kid was just a crazy looking one. I mean, once he came along, it was like tagging along. I'm just like, this is not going to end well for these characters. But also, it's like they main characters. So somehow, some way, it might end well. Craig really earned a lot of his stripes because he wanted to be the protector of the series. He was the one protecting Jason the whole time, but you really felt bad for him when Gamer Kid came along with the crew. You like, somehow, some way, this is not going to end good. He was really just trying to do the right thing, protect all the kids. And I loved, again, how they did, like I said, the misdirection when they showed, you're like, oh, okay. Which is why when he dies, his death really hurts. I did not think they was going to take out the two boyfriends. I did not think I thought they was going to make it all the way through. But I did say, I'm like, somebody has to die, but I just didn't think it was going to be them. But the worst part about his death is when Javi came over and just started bawling. You like, I kind of feel your pain, bro. I feel your pain, man. Stop crying like that. I did want to see Lone Gunman win just because, but I knew because he was introduced as the first character in the book, he was not going to survive. So this was a happy medium with Laura becoming the lone gunman and continuing on in his place. When Javi cried here, I cried with him. The grief really hits. It snuck up on me, I'm not gonna lie. I shared a thug test.
I know, I seen them coming down your eyes.
I was just sitting here like, damn, man, they really could have met Bro Make It. I'm like, it was somehow, some way he could have fit into the end of the story. Now, but issues 8 and 9, the game pretty much just breaks on open. All the rules just start breaking. The groundskeeper guys start finagling things and making things happen. He's trying to keep the killers inside the arena and keep them from escaping while also keeping the civilians from escaping as well and keeping them up for the slaughter. Because if one of them escapes, then they will tell somebody and then, well, I guess the people are so powerful that nothing will happen, so I guess that doesn't really matter. But nonetheless, they got to keep them together. But this time, something happens that the family don't realize. Players are fighting back. And once the victims stop acting like victims, the whole system starts to glitch. Now, this is a scene of Javi where he goes into the school and he jumps in the pool and tries to take out Rascal Randy. And this reminded me of the scene from It Follows where they pretty much tried to do the same thing to the entity. And he is successful. I actually was kind of scared for Javi because I didn't know how this one was going to pan out given how Craig just went out another couple of pages. And that's why we see the groundskeeper was actually a very important part of the story in the game, because once he meets his fate, then everything just starts going sideways. Pretty much was the logistics of this murder business. And that brings us to issue 10. My boy Mike. This one's for you. See, Mike was my favorite character because he had a full character arc. He came from being a meth head to a hero. Only took him about 80 pages. He was scared. He was trying to survive, but when it mattered, he stepped up. Mike was brave because he was terrified. You know what he still said? Nah, not the kids, man.
Put that thing away. They're like children here.
That is real hero stuff, to move when you're scared. It was painful, but it was meaningful. Because he started off the series frozen in fear, but then he ended taking out somebody. His sacrifice was very painful, but it was meaningful because he started off the series frozen in fear and somebody died because of him. But you know what he did in the end? He saved children. He ended by choosing courage. Now that's real character work right there. Now by issues 11 and 12, we pretty much at the end of the game. The numbers of the killers are shrinking, the families are getting nervous, a lot is going on, the town is fighting back, everything is going wrong. And the book starts making it clear that the masks and the weapons are bigger than the people who are wearing them. Now this is also where Fox Mask Killer Breaking My Heart comes in. Fox Mask Killer was my favorite. The sword, the mask, the movement, the story. Very typical story she had. I ain't want to see her go, but I knew she had to go. I also thought maybe, just maybe, this one might get a spin-off series just because it really seemed like they were pushing her. But Nah. And the craziest part, while we knew Laura was gonna become the last gunman, Audrey becoming the other killer, I did not see that coming. I mean, Audrey turning into a Karen just didn't seem like it was gonna happen. I knew she was stressed, but not that doggone stressed. I mean, a child was standing right there. I mean, why would you just go all crazy like that? I understand you having a moment, but then I would think you look at the child and be like, okay, I'm tripping. Let me put this down. Let me go in. But when she said yes and accepted, I was like, okay, that's a choice. And that pretty much set us up for the last issue. And of course, in issue 13, we get our finale. Laura, the last gunman, and Audrey, the crazy ass Karen. Dawn breaks and the final battle hits. And the game comes down to its final last pieces. And all I can say is I was happy with my sister Lauren taking the final victory.
Good job. Good job. Really good job.
She starts as an EMT trying to help people, and she keeps choosing to help people. She keeps surviving. She keeps fighting. She keeps adapting. She learns from the conversation she had with my boy Ian about who she is. And by the end, she is not lucky. She is changed forever. Now, Laura winning does not fix the world. The families are still there, and they're going to do this all over again. The system is still there. The game still happened. The people are still dead. Technically, evil won in this story. But Laura survived. Her survival just feels like justice. Black justice, but justice at that. She knew that she was in a non-winning game, even though she won some money, but she knew at the end of the day, anything can happen. If they wanted to kill her tomorrow, they can go ahead and take her out, but she's going to go ahead and try to move to the next day. Mojave is like, we can't sit here and take this injustice. We have to do something. She's just like, you know what, bro? Shut up. Bathe your tears in these hundreds. And that pretty much concludes the story. So for me, as a full series, Exquisite Corpses definitely gets a 10 out of 10. It hit all the spots I needed for it to hit. And if you agree or disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. Hey, but that's just me. I need to hear from y'all now. Was y'all rocking with the Fox Max Killer? Did Lady Carolina hit from y'all? Did she miss like she did for me? Was y'all messing with my boy Meth Head Mike and good old Ian? Drop an F in the chat for him. And did y'all like Laura winning, or would y'all rather seen someone else win? Whatever your thoughts are, drop them in the comments. And if you rock with comic reviews, spoiler breakdowns, horror comics, indie books, Marvel, DC, movie talk, gaming news, and all things geek culture, please like and subscribe and share this video. Until then, stay locked in, stay melanated, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.